Order the Enfield Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Agency meeting for September 17th, 7 p.m. Pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Excuse me. Fire evacuation in case of an emergency, you can exit the door in the back or go out the door to my left and down the stairs and away from the building. Roll call, please.
Donna Corbin-Savinsky.
Here.
Kevin Zorda.
Here.
Virginia Higley. Here. Kelly Hemler.
Here.
Dylan Bridge.
Here.
Ann Collins.
Absent.
Absent. Ken Kaufman.
Here.
Chris Renault.
Here.
And Robert Gillespie.
Here.
Okay, I'd like to see Robert Gillespie. Public communications, is there anybody in the audience that wants to speak regarding items not on the agenda? Nope. It doesn't seem anybody's here for that, so we'll continue. Correspondence, I didn't have any. Anybody else? No?
No.
Minutes of preceding meetings for September 3rd.
I will make a motion that we approve the minutes of September 3rd, 2024.
Second.
Any corrections, discussions? Seeing none, roll call.
Donna Corbin-Savinsky.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley. Yes. Kelly Hemler.
Yes.
Dylan Bridge.
Yes.
Ken Kaufman.
Yes.
And Robert Gillespie.
Yes.
7 in favor, motion passes. Next is our town attorney report dated September 9th, and it gives us updates on the litigations that we have going on. Growing. Yeah. Next is no continued public hearings, no new public hearings, no old business, so it brings us to new business. IW 708, 167 Shaker Road, wetlands application for a pond dredging, removal of existing structure and construction of a deck. Terrence and Regina Palasi, applicant owner, map 81, lot 102, R44. Yeah. Can you state your name and address for the record?
Yes.
And make sure the speaker's on. Should be red. Okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
Jeff Rasucci, 58 Fairview Ave.
Thomas Remington, 953 River Boulevard.
Could you give us a little?
Yeah, so they're the homeowners, I'm the contractor, and I'm here on behalf of the homeowners, Terrence and Regina. They have a enclosed, like a shed type structure next to an existing pond, and it's old and it needs to be removed. So we want to tear that down, rebuild something similar, although it's not completely enclosed. And then we want to, in conjunction with that, dredge the pond so that we can, A, get rid of like some algae and stuff like that because it needs to be done. But B, by lowering the water level, it'll make us the removing of the existing structure easier, less likelihood of anything falling into the pond. We can dredge it and then fill the pond back up and build the new structure. So that's what we're looking to do.
I have no comments. Everything that I asked Jeff prior to the meeting is all in the staff memo. Aside maybe the one thing that we added while we had a conversation is that the eco-friendly materials that he had mentioned in his narrative is just simply pre-treated woods that they would bring onto the premise, so there would be no needs for additional chemicals or anything of that nature during the construction.
Thank you. Anybody have any comments or questions? Ginny?
What are you going to do with the dredged material?
So we found a spot on site that we're going to spread it out. It's a pretty large area and bring the grade up a little more even, and then just throw some grass seed on it to
Thank you.
grow grass.
Okay. Looks like you moved it back from the original.
So our initial placement was better for the homeowners, but it was kind of downhill towards the existing water course.
Yeah, not
So
good.
we moved it to an area that's flat, so it won't go downhill anymore.
Okay. Anybody else to my left have questions, comments?
How much are you draining and where are you going to put the water?
So the current pond now has an overflow, like, tube that goes to the other body of water that's there, which is it's much larger. than the pond itself. So we were going to utilize that to take the overflow of the water, and we're figuring around 50% of the pond, get it down about 50%.
George, is that freshwater? Brook? I was trying to,
Stephen?
or Stephen, one of the, either one can answer.
Hold, please. No, it's like a separate man-made pond.
It's another man-made pond?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good, thank you. Any other questions to my left, or, no, to my right? Anybody?
Yep. So this map that you show us, there seems to be a structure in the corner or something. What is that?
It was a shed, but it's no longer there.
Okay.
Which one?
See it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so this water that you're going to pump out, it's going to go into this wetlands that's shown on the map?
Yes, to the right. So there's another stream that's kind of in the front of the pond towards the road, and that drains off.
To here?
Can you
Yes,
come up and
correct.
just point it
Yeah.
out?
Yeah, okay, so it's not being pumped into here, it's being
No, it
pumped.
gets pumped into that lower
Okay.
section. and then-
This there, down in here. Okay.
And so how are you going to move this material from there, from the pond over to that? You're just going to
Yeah,
truck it over?
it'll be pulled out with an excavator, put into a dump truck, dumped, and then spread with a skid steer.
So, what are you gonna do to keep that from eroding over there where you're putting the new soil? Are you gonna put up silt fence?
It's very flat. So actually, it's a little bit concave, so we're gonna level it out there. But we can put up a silt fence, although it would be temporary.
And it looks like you're going right near the tree. Like, how much material do you expect to be spreading here?
So there's probably gonna be about like 3 to 4 inches. There's almost kind of a hole in that area that we're gonna be filling in. So about 3 to 4 inches and maybe a 400 or 500 square foot area.
All right, I'm just concerned, like, how close to the trees, because I don't want you killing the trees either.
No, it's like I said, there's a bit of a concavity, and it's not going to be built up against any tree roots or anything like that.
No, nothing's done. Nothing's done. Go ahead.
You're going to take out about 50% of the water, and then you're going to put the 50% back. Where does that water come from? Is it going to be
That was my
when it
question.
rains?
That wasn't a dumb question.
Oh, okay. Was it rain, or is it tap water?
I don't think
or-
they're putting it back, it'll just naturally fill up.
It should
right?
naturally fill back.
Okay, so when it rains, it'll just fill in. Okay, all right.
I was told it is also possibly spring fed, but just what I was told. But it's definitely going to fill up with rainwater eventually. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That was one of my questions. Anybody else to my right?
All right, so the footings of this, what are you using for footings on this?
Concrete piers.
Shed.
Yeah. Just another quick question. So it's hard to see in the photo with the blue square where you're going to be putting the soil. There looks like there's something there. Is it a hedge? Are there plants in there? Like, it looks like there's a fence.
Yeah, there is a fence there. Yeah, and it's their property on both sides of the
Okay.
fence. That's just the separation they have there.
Okay, so that whole property is theirs?
Yes. Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the shed you're building, Kevin mentioned earlier, is there going to be any gutters on it or anything? Like, what are you doing for the water, stormwater?
No gutters. I mean, they could add gutters, but I mean, the gutters will just divert it to one side or the other of the shed or the deck.
How big is it? It's
12 by 6.
Yeah, 12 by 16. Yeah.
We are building the new structure like 12 feet away from the pond, but right now it's right on the edge of the pond.
Right, so you're
it'll be a
pushing it
little,
back.
little bit of a buffer there now.
Yeah, okay. And you're not cutting any trees or anything like that?
No, a few small branches just so it
Yeah,
doesn't
clean it up a little
brush
bit.
over the roof of the new structure. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
If they have no issues.
Excuse me, Madam Chair?
Yes.
You asked me earlier if this was part of Freshwater Brook or not. Freshwater Brook is actually like at the corner of the property, so if there is the brook kind of southern of the property, a little bit more east, but the pond itself is not associated with the brook, it's just a man-made.
Okay, thank you. It was kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, it was hard to tell.
Yeah, it's self-isolated.
Yeah. Okay. What else? So the town did have a question planning with the dredging materials. Is that sufficient now? Whether-
Yeah.
It wasn't on the plan, so
It
you're all
wasn't
set with
on
that?
So originally, the dredging materials were not on the site plans that we had received, and so I had worked with Jeff and asking him where they were going to plan on placing it. And originally, they wanted to place it just north of the shed that you see that's over by the pond.
Yeah.
And I worked with him to make sure that he would go out with the client and get that moved more towards the back of the property, away from
Yeah.
from the slopes that are there.
Okay. Oh, and so you're going to put the silt fencing around the pond?
No, not around
that
the
area?
perimeter pond, just around the perimeter of the structure that we're demolishing.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, perfect. Okay. Anybody else have any more questions, concerns, comments?
Okay. Anything? Good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, I will make a motion to approve IW number 708-167 Shaker Road, application for a wetlands permit for pond dredging, removal of existing structure, and construction of a deck. Terrence and Regina Felossi, applicant owner, map 81, lot 102, R44 zone.
Second.
Second by Kelly. Any just further discussion, comments? Yep, seeing none, roll call?
Donna Corbin Sabinski.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Kelly Hemler.
Yes.
Dylan Bridge.
Yes.
Ann Collins.
Yep. Oh, yeah, she's abstained, yep.
Ken Kaufman.
Yes.
And Robert Gillespie.
Yes.
Okay. 7 in favor, 1 abstain, motion passes.
Okay, thank you
Thank you very much, good luck with your project.
Thank you.
It's a nice property.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is, great property.
Madam Chair, if I may, real quick, for the record, Commissioner Collins came in at 7:08. You would now need to unseat the alternate.
Okay. Okay. Done. Next is our planning staff report.
For the planning staff report, just a reminder that Khaki Wick is going to be on November 16th at the Bristol Convention Center. If you are interested in going, please send us an email so we can get you registered. And another thing for the planning staff report, for meetings that are short like tonight's, I propose that maybe we want to consider having these online and virtual. Just something for us to think about.
Nah.
Okay.
We've had some issues with them in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just say.
It's just food for thought for the short
No,
meetings.
no,
That's all.
I appreciate it.
But yeah, thank you for that. We did miss enforcement report, sorry about that. Did we have anything?
Yes, so the enforcement report. So at 348 Hazard Ave, we went out on September 13th to check if the equipment was removed from the rear of the property and if vegetation was planted. Upon our arrival, we had saw that there was no equipment parked in the rear. And prior to that, Rick had received an email with photos showing that they would have planted 9 hardwood trees. When we arrived and we asked, they had planted 6 trees. They appear to be oak. I asked for clarification. I never got a response as to exactly what trees they were, but again, they appear to be oak. And then the other part of our enforcement is 92 Post Office Road. Again, on 9/13, we went out to investigate ENS controls, and at that time, the silt fencing was in poor condition. I had sent the applicant emails for a second warning that this is their second violation of the ENS controls as per their permit. And then I received an email on, what was it? Today's what, the 17th? Yeah. I received an email on the 16th saying that they had put swaddles around the silt fencing, and then we went out again this morning to double check that they had done that. And I can confirm that they added swaddles around the silt fencing. And then I also told the applicant to have additional ENS controls on site, so that way in case of emergencies or if that are of heavy rain events, that they can repair them on a day-to-day basis, and to make sure that they are in place until the site is stabilized.
I did mention to you that they had dumped dirt, truckloads of dirt.
Yeah, so the dirt was there when we arrived, but through my research, the permit doesn't state anything about whether they may or may not put additional fill into the site. So unfortunately, with my conversation with Rick Rochelle, doesn't seem like that's something that we can enforce.
It's backfill from the excavation at 100 Post Office. It's just topsoil. So their foundation is below the 50% habitable grade as required by the zoning regs. They didn't bring any fill from any kind of company or anything like that.
Okay, we did discuss that in full, in detail, heavily during the
We
meetings.
should pull the minutes.
Yeah, we should pull the minutes.
We did look at
I
the
did
minutes too.
Okay.
No, you go ahead. You did the research.
I did read through all the minutes, and I only found one comment from Commissioner Kober about if there was going to be any infill, and the applicant had stated there would be no infill. But again, from all of the research I had seen, that was the only comment that I saw about the infill, and the applicant did state that the infill was coming from 100 posts, so it's not coming from another location, to my knowledge.
Okay. That's good. Are we going to be able to close 148 or?
Yeah,
348?
So 348, we just wanted to talk about the trees. The commission, last time we spoke, we had talked about 9 trees. He's missing the 3, and that decision would be up to the agency as to whether or not to require the remaining 3 or just close it as is of 6.
I mean, we got 6 trees. I mean,
It's better than no trees.
Yeah.
Yeah, how does it look?
They are a little small in caliber than what we would have liked to see, but we're just happy that the site's clean. There's still fencing. He did get a soil scientist on site to delineate any wetlands. The soil science report was only done for his portion of the property, and if you recall the location, it does connect to a greater wetland down south, so I can understand where the scientists came up with there being no wetlands on site, but it wouldn't exclude them from being in the upland review area. You'd have to delineate all the properties in that area to really check, so but assuming that the trees will survive the winter, we can always go out in the spring and double check. If you'd like to keep the violation open, just to be on the safe side for landscaping purposes, or if not, we can close it and just continue to monitor.
I think it'd be prudent to leave it open till the spring, make sure that,
No
were the
problem.
trees alive when you were out
Yes,
there?
they're healthy, they're good. They're just a little bit small than what we like to see in caliper. But they were planted appropriately by wetland scientists. You can still see the pink flag locations of where they did their test pits. Silt fencing is still up, and the site is clear of any vehicles or debris.
I say leave it till spring.
Yeah. Everybody? Looks like we have a,
Okay, no
Consensus
problem.
on that?
We can do
Yeah.
that.
leave it till spring.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost them anything.
No. All right, so we'll do that. Any other enforcements or?
Nope, that's all the enforcements I have.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, I guess, would be applications, excuse me, to be received is IW 709-226 Brainerd Road, application for the wetland permit to build a, oh, we already did that one. No, that's right, that's right. To build a detached garage in the upland review area. William and Carolyn Heber, application owner, map 62, lot 18, R33 zone. Okay, so that'll be at the next meeting. And then next is our review of our bylaws. Did everybody get an opportunity to review them, or
Yeah.
anybody have any corrections or comments or suggestions? So, okay, so then I'll, sorry. So, on the, under Article 4, membership, they talk, through the whole thing, they refer to us as agents and members and back
Yeah,
and forth, back and forth.
yeah.
So I think it'd be good if we could keep it one. We are agents, because it's the Inland Wetlands Watercourse Agency, so we are agents. So that might be something. Then on page 2 at the top, section 3, it says members and alternates are expected to attend all meetings. And then maybe you want to say participate in, because on page 4, section 7, we added that section 7 there. So it said a board member, which should be an agent, may participate in a meeting of the, it should be agency, by or conduct a meeting through the use of any means of communication by which all members should be agents. Participating in a meeting, this means it's deemed to be present in the person. So if somebody was on Zoom,
Yeah.
you know, so I don't know if we want to have the top of page 2 say participate or attend or,
So those are really good points to bring up, and I do concur with the terminology being consistent. However, I do not believe there's a requirement for all the wetlands agents to be certified by DEEP. I could double check on that too, but I believe as long as we have the one agent and at least one member of the wetlands agency, I'd have
no,
to
no,
look
this
at
is
that
about
again.
attending the meeting.
Oh, right, I'm
Talking about
talking.
attending the meeting.
Right, I'm going back to your first comment about the member terminology versus agency
Oh, okay.
commission terminology. And I'll have to double check too, because Stephen's been taking lead, so I didn't really refresh my memory if anything, but I'm pretty sure that there's not a requirement for all the commission members to be certified by DEEP,
Right.
which wouldn't really make them agents per se.
It would be a member then.
Yeah.
So is that the difference?
Yeah, so I guess so. Like some of them aren't certified, some of them are, and I can double check too. Well, Stephen can double check, but just to make sure that we're being careful with what's required versus what's not.
Yeah, and how we word it.
Yeah.
Maybe we add that a little comment then if a member is not certified.
Oh
or
yeah, you
agent.
could definitely add a little terminology.
Little terminology thing.
Yeah, appendix, whatever.
That might be good. Then on page 2, section 4, middle of the paragraph, it says the secretary shall be responsible for taking roll calls, readings, recording of seating of alternates, reading of legal notices. So, and on page 6, we talk about that legal notices are in the newspapers. And I know she's tried to read them a couple times, and, you know, they said they're online or something. We didn't have them, right? So,
We're a little bit lost. What is that?
it
What
talks
is
about,
that
it
edit?
talks about the secretary reading legal notices.
Right.
And then later on in here, it says they're in the newspaper, which,
They are. They're published in the paper. We give you a printout copy of what's exactly printed in the paper.
do we post them online?
No, it's not required. We used to as a courtesy during COVID.
Okay, that's where I was confused. Because I think a couple times we didn't have one to read.
That was probably staff error from past staff. We have other staff in our office who set up your meetings, and then we come down before and we do all the extra paperwork and whatever is missing. Hopefully we catch.
Okay, it was-
The signing of legal documents, I don't do that.
and the signing of legal documents, she doesn't do that?
No. I don't know who signs the legal documents, but I don't do that.
I don't really know what would constitute a legal document.
Well, it says, and signing of agency-approved documents.
Well, I would assume then whatever documents need signature, kind of like when the Secretary of Planning and Zoning comes in and signs the special use permits. It could be pertaining to any type of permit or letter that would require, say for example, you wanted to draft a letter to the Siting Council. It would be something like that I would propose. You're like the secretary. You
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, okay. I just want to make sure we're. Oh, on page 5, where we have the order of business. So M, review of bylaws would go after, is that an organizational meeting and election of officers, and it would go after roll call. So we should really move it up
Yeah, that's a good idea.
after roll call, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Do you want the election of officers and review of bylaws after roll call, or do you want to keep review of bylaws down the bottom?
Yeah,
It's a long.
it's a long
thing,
thing,
yeah.
so probably leave the review of
bottom?
bylaws in,
Okay.
yeah.
So we're leaving it?
We're going to leave the review of bylaws at the bottom,
Okay.
and then we'll put the election of officers comes after roll call,
Okay.
yeah. Because then the new people would take over. Yeah. That's it.
Okay.
That was a lot of changes. I just want to make sure Stephen has them all so we can type them up for you for your review. Do you mind
Okay, that's fine.
listing them out one more
Yes.
time?
Well, I guess we were going to decide, so it's page 1, section, Article 4, section 1, where we talk about members and agents. We're going to figure that one out.
So maybe just adding something at the end,
Right, the
key.
terminology.
Yeah.
whatever,
Whatever, yeah,
whatever you call it.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And then at the top of page 2, we had section 3 about attending the meetings. That's something I mentioned.
And if I may ask, what was that change again exactly?
It was about participation because on page 4, we talk about participation, section 7, we talk about participation by any means, by Zoom or whatever.
So do you want like a similar?
Do we want to, is it, we'd rather people be in person, but people can attend by Zoom.
We've had that before,
Yeah.
like when Commissioner Zorda was out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good idea to leave that. God
Yeah.
forbid anything like
Yeah.
COVID happens again.
or something, yeah.
we don't want to.
It is good to stay in place too, because I know we don't like the virtual meetings, but say, for example, we had nothing on our agenda tonight except for bylaws, and
Yeah.
that could have been an option. I know the state legislator still allows land use agencies to conduct their meetings virtual if they choose to do so.
Right.
And that was adopted after COVID as a just-in-case measure.
So my question was if for that section 3 on top of page 2, do we keep it as to attend or participate? Change it to the word participate.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Just saying attend. Well, is attending online still attending?
Attending?
It kind of is.
Technically, it would be.
Or
It's
do you
still
say,
attending.
you say it's a participating, you're
Yeah.
participating? I don't know.
It's funny because like
Let's
you could
ask the attorney. What do you think?
What do you think? Who's the attorney? Yes.
you could still attend the meeting but then not
it's fine
participate.
anyway. Yeah, I think it's fine.
Okay, that's good. We'll leave it.
So we'll leave it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we don't care about the legal note. We do care about the legal notices, but we resolve that issue. So that's okay.
You can participate by saying here and then nothing else for the rest of the
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah.
You don't have to like.
You don't have to talk.
If you have nothing to say, I've been on boards where people have nothing to say, but they choose just to
Yeah.
You have like commissioner flexibility, I'd call it.
Yeah. And then then the order of business piece.
yes.
So
Yeah. That makes it a lot easier.
other than that,
Thank you so much.
okay. Anybody else have any?
That's good.
Gotcha.
Anybody else have anything to add under miscellaneous or? Okay. Adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Okay, and it's 7:29. Meeting is adjourned. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.